Trang appeared skillfully, as if everything was by chance. She is new employee, moved from Southern Branch to head office, and Sue has become a household name. In strategy meetings, Trang is quick, good at communication, and knows how to grasp psychology. It didn't take long for the page to catch James's attention. But what makes people around talk? Owed her talent, but the look she often gave James, a look that does not hide its intentions. Page and source work pressure. OT noticing those signals at all. He still kept a serious demeanor. Daily focus on reports. Meeting and plan to revive the struggling company. But there are times. Trang accidentally walked into the office. James is tired. Bring a cup of coffee and a few words of concern. Once or twice no one will notice. But when the story repeats itself, rumors began to creep in. Tu Diep heard that on a rainy afternoon, from the women selling vegetables at the market. At first she smiled slightly, thinking it was just sidewalk news. But then when she saw the page with her own eyes, step out of the office floor elevator, James' hand holding his vest, the faint smile has not faded from the lips. Her heart sank. She did not ask, she did not question. She was silent, just like the way she always chooses when she's heartbroken. Step back to let the one you love choose their own path. James was stuck between 1,000 unfinished plans at that time. Shareholder pressure, investor, skepticism, and media storm of rumors. He did not notice the change into Diep's eyes. Didn't notice the way she texted less, smile less, and then disappear. One morning he came to her house as usual. Bring a bag of hot cakes with fragrant sticky rice smell. But the door is closed. My aunt told me he went back to his hometown. Said nothing, just left a note and went. A piece of paper with just a few lines. I need time to think. There are things I don't want to ask because I'm afraid of hearing the answer. I wish you peace. I stand silently in the empty yard at night. His heart was already in turmoil because of work. All like someone is squeezing tighter. I don't know where to start. Explain something. Or is there any chance to keep a girl? Chose to leave. In silence. James later realized his true feelings. Determined to find Tu Diep. After receiving the note, James was like a lost soul. Messy work, unfinished meeting. His eyes were only on the empty space in the passenger seat of the car, where Tu Diep used to sit, smile, and remind him to eat breakfast. James put everything aside for the first time in his life. He assigned the work to his assistant, refused meetings with investors, and drove back to her hometown by herself. The place he only heard her mention come a couple of times in the chat, when it's late at night. The road leading into the small village winds through the rice fields. Is grey. James stood in the middle of that peaceful space, in complete contrast to the city life he was living. Choke. He asked every house, every citizen, just to find the girl's shadow, that I know I can't lose. Tu Diep returned to her hometown and met an old friend who made her waver. Tu Diep returned home on a windless afternoon. The old roof is still the same. The squash trellis in front of the yard is still blooming with pure white flowers. But she sat removing the dried onions with an empty heart. But then a familiar voice came from behind. Tu Diep, are you really Tu Diep? She looked up in surprise. His home, a childhood friend who once secretly loved her but never expressed. The person who left the village to study agriculture, then returned to work as a commune cadre. The king is now an adult. Strong figure, eyes still sincere as before. He helped her carry the basket of vegetables. He went to the market to help her pick eggplants. Eat with Aunt. In those few short days, Tu Diep felt a peace that the city did not have, where no one looks at her eyes. Oh, one mentioned the game or to Trang. Purple leaf. Sometimes she quietly looked at home. Take care of your clean vegetable field. Think nonsense. Is it better to live a simple life like that? But the heart is not easily deceived. Every time the wind blows, she remembered the dark look in his eyes when he looked at her and smiled. Remember the call of the leaf. Every time he comes home late and knows she's still waiting for dinner. Fateful encounter. A drizzly afternoon, when Tu Diep was cleaning the basket of eggplants in front of the porch. Then there was the sound of a car braking suddenly outside the alley. James stepped down. Crumpled shirt, dark circles from many sleepless nights. He looked at her without saying a word. Just those eyes were wet with rain, but full of determination. Tu Diep stood still, her heart beating chaotically. Mr. Hong accidentally from the field. Come back also witnessed that moment. He did not step forward, just stood still and turned away. I understand there are feelings. Cannot be won by time or memory. I still can't stop raining. The game is still standing in front of the house. Oh, umbrella, no voice. His eyes searched for something into Diep's eyes. Something that used to be yours. But now it seems so far away. The two Tu Diep people gently bowed their heads, their hands clasped together. She didn't know whether to be happy or sad. I don't know if my heart is angry, missing or something else. Only know when see you appear. Her heart was beating faster than usual. He approached with a hoarse voice. I'm sorry for letting you leave in pain. She remained silent. I was wrong for not realizing it at first. That the person you need to keep is not your job. It's not the business that makes the difference, it's you. He took out a small piece of paper from his pocket. The piece of paper that Tu Diep left on the table before leaving. The word COVID has blurred because your hand held it for too long. But still clear every word. I'm tired, you're so horny. I don't want to be the shadow behind you, you don't want to be either. Stay out of his life forever. If one day you really need me. OT for the presence of 4. But for love then find me. Sorry, James handed the piece of paper to her. It took me too long to understand Ra. But today I came here not because I want you to forgive me, but to ask if you still love me. Miss Tu Diep raised her head and tears fell silently. OT because she was in pain, but because of all the pie. All the hurt so long. How dissolved in a single honest word. I never stopped loving you, James E. He walked over. His arms embraced her for the first time after so many days apart, but also embraces the mistakes, the troubles, the nameless sorrows. From afar the sound of rain still pattered on the corrugated iron roof of the memorial, but not cold anymore. From afar, the emperor saw that scene from behind the bushes by the roadside. He smiled sadly but also relieved. Because I know true love doesn't need to WI. Just want the person I love to be happy. Although James and Tu Diep have reconciled, but the storm did not stop there. When both returned to the city, in the hope of starting over, a new challenge suddenly came. James is under investigation, related to money laundering case through fake agricultural contracts, a line that James himself was behind, but borrowed the name of James' company to do it. Just back to office, James was summoned by the economic inspector. Company account frozen from partner termination of contract. Workers strike for wages over rumors of company bankruptcy. Tu Diep stood next to him in the tense meeting room. She witnessed James. A once proud and courageous CEO is now exhausted. Worried eyes. Sleepless nights to deal with paperwork. Prove innocent. He said bitterly, I used to think that just being honest and doing business transparently was enough. But unexpectedly, someone was one step ahead, and you have revealed too many loopholes. Legal battle and buried truth. Tu Diep began to investigate the strange bills, forged signatures. She went to see lytutien, the person who helped him before, to reopen the case file. Each small detail gradually reveals a shocking truth. There's a CFO in the company who was bribed. This person is the link that helps Dung manipulate the cash flow. But evidence is not easy to come by. And that person suddenly quit his job and disappeared without a trace. Love has tested a guy. While James buried himself in a battle with the law, James then faced skepticism from her family. Those who still haven't accepted James after the last incident. Her aunt said bluntly, "A person like him is involved in a crime. How can you still go to the gym? The fetus in my belly, is it sure to have a stable future? Or not?" Tu Diep just silently hugged her stomach. Tears fall silently. Between love, trust, and responsibility for the unborn child, she knew she couldn't give up. Start planning counterattack. With the support of my brother and Tua, start planning to expose the. He pretended to accept the compromise. Make an appointment for sex and a deal to buy the company to save James. Meanwhile, Tu Diep plays the role of a delivery man. Approach the missing accountant and convince her to come forward. With a clip she recorded of an erotic scene. Illegal money transfer. Life lesson. When love and faith become strength. In the journey of James and Tu Diep, there were times when they thought, as if everything had collapsed. Misunderstanding, betrayal. Lost all threat from dark forces. But what makes them not let go? It's not about wealth or fame, but love and trust in each other. When James faced the blade of justice, and the leaves face the prejudiced eyes of the world, they still choose to stand next to each other. They are not perfect people, but because of daring to face the shortcomings, dare to correct mistakes, and dare to protect each other to the end, they will be strong enough to overcome everything. The lesson here is not just about love, but also about life. Trust once placed in the right person will be the root. Help love bloom in adversity. Difficulty is not the end, but is a test to prove sincerity sometimes. Just one person believing in me is enough for me to dare to fight with the world. If you are in love, tired of a hard life, remember that sincerity will never be buried forever. Like night and day one day. Real people. Live a good life and the light of life will call your name. 1 to those who are losing faith in love. Maybe you are hurt. Maybe you just got out of a relationship. Seemed like forever. Or you are at a crossroads. Choose between heart and mind. Remember, true love is not always as romantic as the movies. Always smooth sailing. Sometimes it comes with misunderstandings and anger, even the seemingly unbridgeable gaps. But if that person is sincere with you, he will come back, will explain, will protect you from the world, and you will also learn to let go of doubt. Learn to love with a broken heart. Learn how Tu Diep once wanted to leave the game because of a misunderstanding. James was once confused between work and love, but they chose to return not because of fate, but because faith is never completely extinguished through all the storms. Because true love always deserves a second chance. Whoever you are and wherever you are, believe that someday there will be someone who dares to walk through storms to hold your hand. And you deserve to love and be loved completely. The year 1 read James's inner dialogue one sleepless night. There are mistakes you can't take back, but if given the choice, a guy I will still love you from the beginning and until the end. I used to think keeping you by my side was enough, but it turns out the more important thing is for me to feel safe when I'm with you. But the work can be redone. Reputation can be rebuilt. But the girl makes him feel at peace between the pressures. If lost, it will be forever. Tu Diep, wait for me a little longer. I will fix everything. As long as you still believe in me even a little bit. I thought I was strong. I thought I was sane enough to walk away without looking back. But in every breath of wind, in the sunlight through the old gourd canopy, your image still appears. A girl afraid her love is just an illusio. But deep in my heart I still believe if you still walk towards me, I will not turn my back. Because true love does not need too many words. Just one person stays when everything is falling apart. Extra lessons for audience. Don't let ego kill a relationship. We should have been able to weather the storm together. Learn to list. Learn to slow down and be the master if possible. Moving towards each other year